Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Dave Wilkeson. I am the owner of MSP Advisor. I do consulting work with companies around the United States, also Canada and Europe, and we work on operational efficiency, product design, and financial metrics. And today I'd like to talk to you about the CARES Act and also a little bit about the FFCRA, which stands for the Family First Coronavirus Recovery Act. My friends over at SolarWinds MSP asked me to put together a quick video about how to apply for these programs and how easy it is for MSPs to do that. So the Ppp program is the program that I think is most applicable to MSPs and IT service provider companies. So basically you get a loan for 2.5 times your monthly average for your payroll costs. Now payroll costs in this case is a sum of a number of things. The first is it includes all of your W-2 wages that you're paying out. It also includes the owner's Schedule C income or K-1 income if you're a partnership. And all of this is up to $100,000, so it's capped at $100,000 per employee. It also includes healthcare costs as well as employer paid taxes. Certain employer paid taxes are also included in those payroll costs. So you take that last year or trailing 12 months, they'll do either one, and you divide that by 12, those costs over that 12-month period, you divide by 12, and that gives you your average per month cost. You multiply that times 2.5, and that's the amount of the loan that you're going to potentially get. Now, some interesting things about this. There is no collateral on this. So there's no collateral, no credit checks, there's no owner's signature, nothing like that on this. And the loan is available for forgiveness. So you will be able to have a portion up to the entire amount forgiven tax-free. And this is really the important part of this financial recovery money that the federal government has put together. The way the forgiveness works is the 8 weeks following the date of origination, your payroll costs, so all your real payroll costs in that period of time, as well as your actual healthcare costs during that period of time, any rent, so as long as rent, your lease was in place prior to 2/15/2020, any interest that is due on a mortgage or on, say, a line of credit or a long-term loan, something like that. As long as it was originated prior to 2/15/2020, that interest is also included in the forgiveness costs, as well as utilities, so gas, electricity, and we believe telephone and internet will also be included. So again, these are significant costs for most MSPs. So all of that is potentially forgivable under this program. The FFCRA is important because it requires United States MSPs that are under 500 employees to give their employees time off. The interesting part about this program is that there is a credit included. So you get credit from the government to pay for the time off for those employees, and also for employees that are staying home to take care of someone who's sick, and also childcare credits. This is important because as we look at these different programs, we can't double dip. So if we take the dollars under the FFCRA credit, we can't also take the grant money from the CARES Act, and we can't take the forgiveness of the PPP loan. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the EIDL, or Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. So this is a loan program that's been around for a while. They use it with hurricanes and tornadoes and flooding, those sorts of things. But under the CARES Act, it's been expanded so that it includes a very quick turnaround process on the loan, and B, it includes a grant of up to $10,000. And that grant is available to small businesses, again, under 500 employees, even if they're turned down for an EIDL loan or under the PPP program. So that grant you get no matter what, basically. You cannot, again, double dip though. So if you get that grant is removed from the forgiveness that you get under the PPP loan. It's subtracted right off the top. And in a few minutes, we'll go through actually applying for that loan.
Go to the SBA.gov website, click on the yellow click here at the top, then click on the funding options, scroll down, and that gives you the PPP and the EIDL areas. Click on the PPP area. If you scroll down, there's a lot of information about the program, but towards the bottom, there's this PPP borrower's application. So click that and you can download the application. Now let's talk about the actual calculation to arrive at the amount of money that you are eligible for under the PPP program. Here's a spreadsheet that I built just to illustrate the calculation. So this is going to show us what our average monthly is based on our total from last year. So it's just going to do the calculation for me. Note that I've also listed here the source of each one of these pieces of information. I recommend that you definitely track that and also make copies and PDFs of each one of these pieces of documentation because it's likely your lender is going to ask for that. So here I'm just going to go ahead and enter my 2019 W-2 payroll totals from last year, and then my 401k company matches, so what the company was responsible for, any state taxes the employer I paid as an employer, and then my total owner compensation that I paid out. Remember that there's a maximum of $100,000 per employee, so I can't go more than $100,000. And then any 401k safe harbor match on that owner money. And then here I put my monthly healthcare premium invoice from the previous month. I went ahead and you could also do an average of last year's if that number was higher. And then any state tax that's due on that $100,000 for the owner. And then if you have an HSA, you can enter that funding as well. And then that gives us a total per month average, which we multiply times 2.5. And that gives us our total loan amount that we can apply for under the PPP. Here is the actual application from the government that I downloaded earlier from the website. So you see it's pretty straightforward. It's really only 2 pages. The last couple pages are just instructions after that. It's pretty straightforward what we have to answer. The big question here is we have to certify that we are uncertain about the future ongoing operations of our business. That's the major eligibility question that you have to answer. And then if we scroll back up here, we can see at the top where those 2 numbers that we just calculated go. So the average monthly payroll and then the 2.5 times that monthly payroll. And then also we have to certify the number of employees that we had during certain periods of time in the past, either right before the COVID crisis or at a period last year, whichever one is lower is the one I would recommend that you use. Now let's take a look at the EIDL loan advance program. So we can click on that, get to this information right from the SBA.gov website. We scroll down and click on the disaster loan application. So this application is very straightforward. We have to tell them that we have less than 500 employees. We have to certify a number of questions. And then the big question here is, what is the amount of gross revenue for the last 12 months prior to the period, so January 31st, and what were my cost of goods during that same period? The rest of this is really straightforward information about the business, contact information, that sort of thing. So this takes about 7 or 8 minutes total to fill out. Be sure on the last screen that you click the box that says you are interested in the $10,000 grant.
Thanks for joining in today. I hope this was helpful for you. For more information about all of this under the CARES Act, visit the SolarWinds Coronavirus Resource page, the URL shown at the bottom, and that will take you to a longer webinar I gave on this topic. And also there's a link to a document I'm keeping up to date on my website with all of the information, the URLs and so forth for things that we're talking about today. So again, thanks and good luck.